this next girl come up to the stage. Very, very funny lady. You can see her all over Los Angeles. A lot of you have come here to see her. Let's give her Mary Jackson, ladies and gentlemen. Mary Jackson.
This is my first time ever doing this, and it's the eve of my 34th birthday, so some comedian talked about 35, and I'm like, thanks. You know what? Okay. Anyways, I just want to tell you guys that my whole life, people didn't know I was white. Okay, you look at me, got the brown skin. It's actually tan. Okay, it's a little bit yellower underneath. And when I would tell people I'm Guamanian, they'd be like, what part of Mexico is that from? I'd be like, Guam, dude, you've got like 3 territories. There's DR. I actually thought it was PR, but I was wrong. It was the Virgin Islands. And we have Guam. And everyone's like, well, what the fuck is Guam? Where is Guam? And I'm like, oh, it's the Mariana Islands. It's near the Philippines. Oh, they're like, oh, you're like Filipino. And I'm like nothing. I'm Guamanian. There are a bunch of people that were on their way to someplace more important, and then they landed in Guam. They need to fill up. And I didn't know that boats needed to actually fill up with gas then, but they did. And there's only like 1 straight road in Guam, and that's because the U.S. Army had to come through. Anyways, so there was an Iranian up here earlier. Well, I was married to an Iranian. Okay, I have 2 kids, and I found out that there's this NFL player, Hushman. Apparently, you guys say Hushmanzada. He plays for the Seahawks. Okay, and Pete Carroll, I work at USC, is going to coach him. But anyways, so Hushmanzada. So my children's last name, I'm Mary Jackson, and the pedophile music doesn't really work for me. So I'm the real MJ, but whatever. We'll get past that. But anyway, so my kid's last name is Gosmzadeh. And I still can't pronounce it right, and my ex-husband used to get really mad at me because he'd be like, it's good, it's good. And I'm like, dude, it's fucking G-H. It's, okay? Have you seen Tough? Okay, you're not through, but you're tough. Okay. So, and if you've ever dated a Persian, they like to like take you out to dinner, ladies, and they like to like open their wallet and be like, oh, let me pull through the hundreds. There's 1. Okay, and then there's like, you know, a bunch of 20s. All right, and then you find out there's nothing in the bank account because they don't have one. Okay, they really don't because they don't have green cards. Okay? And they're here trying to claim political asylum, but what actually happened was they went to Canada, and Canada believes that shit, and then they like cross the border, and they end up in Bellevue, not the one in New York, the one in Washington, and they end up in like some prison for a while, and they're like, oh, actually I was kicking heroin. Oh, fabulous. That's fabulous. So anyways, my kid's last name is Gosmzadeh, and when they had, yeah, whatever, born of Gossam. Does anybody know Gossam? Because I'd really like to meet him sometime. I'm Jackson, I'm son of Jack, and my father's name is Joe. Anyways, Gosmzadeh. And I told my son the other day, and I was like, dude, okay, my son's 8. I'm like, dude, there's this guy named Hushmanzadeh. So I'm talking to some students, you know, I work at SC, and it's all about football at SC, because really it's not Brain Tech University. And everyone knows you just write a check and you can get in. So, anyway, so I'm there, and shut the fuck up, we all know that. Right? Until 5 years ago, all the 11 were about as dumb as me, okay? And I went to Cal State LA, my sister went to LMU, which is Cal State Westchester. So anyways, back to my story. My son, I'm like, apparently they make the jerseys large enough to fill, you know, to fit your 12-letter last name. And I'm like, and then you can tell people you're half black because your mom's last name is Jackson, and it'll be all good. And my son looked at me and he's like, what's the NFL? I'm like, right on. Okay, we need to watch more football. Anyway, so I grew up everyone thinking I was Mexican. I went to UC Riverside, which is actually UC Rejects. I don't know if you guys know that. It's like if you apply to Berkeley and you don't get in, they keep passing it down until some school will stop and like pick it up. And that would be Riverside. And it is freaking 2,000 degrees outside in Riverside, all right? And if you never leave the campus, you think you're like on a real college campus. Then you go to Baker's, which is their like version of like, I don't know, churches or wherever, White Castle. And you're there, and there are police officers in the drive-thru because you can't give to the panhandlers. So they're pounding on your window at 3 o'clock in the morning, like, can you give me money? And I'm like, dude, there's a cop over there. I can't do it. So anyways, I used to get approached by Mecha. They'd be like, hola, you know, senor, you know, senorita. I don't speak Spanish. And I'd be like, what's up? And they're like, oh, you don't speak Spanish. Your parents didn't teach you your roots. And I'm like, fuck it, let's check it. Pull out your hand. I got yeller under here, you got some pink. I got black ass hair, and you have brown. Okay, so we are not from the same roots. And I'd be like, I'm from Guam. And they're like, what's that? And I'm like, do you know how to spell it? And they're like, Guam, is that G-W-A-M? And I'm like, yeah, okay. You know what, we'll work on that one. So anyways, everybody knows USC is the University of Spoiled Children, right? Okay, but I actually went to the crosstown rival. It's called Cal State LA. Because really, UCLA's in Westwood, and the dude who did the Westwood joke, that was kind of funny, but not really. But anyway, so I used to tell people, I'm like, I went to Cal State LA, and they'd be like, oh, what kind of college experience was that? And I'm like, well, it's one you don't live in, because you don't live at Cal State LA. And I had a friend, I call her Dishwashing Bride, but that's a whole other time, and I don't have enough time for that. But she was like, I live on campus, and I'm like, where? On the 10 freeway? Is it at the 710 and the 10? Where do you live? She's like, there's these apartments. I'm like, aren't those classrooms? You know, like, what the fuck? Are you sure that those are like, she's like, no, they're inhabitable. And I'm like, oh. So I went to Cal State LA. They used to like approach me in Mecha, and I'd be trying to like tell people, and they're like, here, I took a speech class. They're like, tell me about your roots. And I'm like, I'm really white. If I took a really good shower and used like a loofah, you'd find out that I'm blonde and blue-eyed. You know, and they're like, no way. You know, and I'm like, dude, my father was part of the people who got Governor Reagan elected. My father's the poster child for white America. Okay, I just have to tell you, he's 6 feet tall. His eyes are so blue, they're transparent. And people would see us together, and they'd be like, oh, are these your grandchildren? Did you, like, adopt them? I'm no, this is my father. And they're like, no way. So, anyways, having a last name like Jackson is so not fun because people think like, I had a guy at the Citigroup Center, and I will so totally call him out, and he said to me, are you half black? And I was like, why would you ask me something like that? He's like, well, your last name's Jackson. I said to him, where did you go to high school? And he's like, Montebello. And I was like, all right, Montebello, you need to sue your school district for something like that, because everybody knows my slave-owning family was the reason why we're like fucking black. Anyways, I'm gonna like respect the light, because I got this big-ass email this week about how you have to respect the light, and I was actually gonna make fun of more white people, because really my first 4-letter word was Bass, as in Basque-Region loafers. But maybe some of you don't know that. Okay, never mind. So I'm supposed to introduce this guy from Philly, okay? And his name is Russ Guten, so I think he's going to bring the cheese steak. Russ, are you here?